I think the discourse about anti-Semitism has become really, really toxic. I think it's part of the roots of that is this insistence by powerful Jewish organizations on the idea that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, which I think, as you rightly said, this completely negates the Palestinian experience, right? How could Palestinians not be anti-Zionist? Even if you think that Zionism is the best thing that ever happened to the Jewish people, how can you think that Palestinians would not have a problem with this, right? It starts with their expulsion in 1940, and it kind of goes downhill from there, right? And so, and then other people who identify with the Palestinian cause and feel like there's something wrong, and listen to Palestinians also then might be attracted to these ideas of seeing Zionism as an oppressive and illiberal force. And so this equation of anti-Zionism, which has been pushed so much by American Jewish organizations, I think is part of what is now the clay that Donald Trump is now using in this effort to try to create this authoritarian regime, right? And to attack universities by saying that under the name of the claim that they're anti-Semitic. And I think that it is really a terrible and tragic thing that in this effort to protect Israel by accusing its harshest critics of being anti-Semites, you actually now have created this environment in which Donald Trump has this rhetorical weapon that he can use to try to basically destroy independent institutions in the United States that are fundamental to us remaining a liberal democracy. I mean, there is really, to see American Jewish organizations be complicit in the destruction of America's universities, given what universities have meant to American Jews, is really, really chilling to me. So I think the first thing I guess I would say to this person is defend the right of people to question, to criticize not just Benjamin Netanyahu, but even to question and criticize the notion of Jewish supremacy without being called anti-Semitic. If there is evidence that people are anti-Semitic, then you have the right to call them anti-Semitic. But you need some other form of evidence beyond the fact that that they believe in human equality and they are opposed to an ideology that they see as being in violation of human equality. And so I think that would be the first thing I would say. We have to, as Jews, I think, we have to be willing to stick our necks out to allow people of goodwill who are not Jewish to be able to feel like they can enter this conversation without constantly being fearful that they would be called anti-Semitic. It's really painful to watch because the truth is the reason that anti-Semitism shuts down conversation is precisely because anti-Semitism has been used for such horrifying things in human history. And so the better a person you are, the more you fear being called an anti-Semite, right? And so people desperately don't want to be called anti-Semites, partly because they know it could put their jobs and their reputations at risk, but partly because they don't want to be associated with something which is so horrifying. And yet many, many good-hearted American people, the same kind of people who were on the front lines opposing the Vietnam War and opposing segregation and opposing apartheid, they can see with their own eyes that this state is doing things that is not right, and that our government should not be supporting that. And when we slander those people, I think we are taking this precious inheritance that we have from prior generations of Jews who suffered so much because of anti-Semitism, and we're desecrating it by using it as a cheap political tactic because, frankly, it's impossible to defend what Israel's actually doing on the ground in Gaza and the West Bank. And so anti-Semitism is the only card you can play because if you actually try to talk about what Israel's doing in Gaza and the West Bank, it's impossible to defend.
I thank you. I also want to remind everyone that there are many Israelis who feel the same way. And we're not taking questions from the floor, sorry.
No, we're just...
No, hands up. Oh, their hand.